Well, I want to thank everybody that's tuned in to Gary's Music Show today, Memorial Day, and here in the Northeast in WRPI land, it's absolutely gorgeous, beautiful day. And we were listening to some very uplifting music right now, Alice Coltrane, and we have Harnam on the line right now, and Harnam, well, also known as Harnam Singh, originally from California. Harnam's unique creative and spiritual perspective is rooted in the powerful connection with nature. This is apparent in the authentic quality of his music, where he often blends genres and pushes boundaries. His latest release, the single Guru Ram Das, Mystic Art, with producer Anthony Molina, combines the sacred and secular to form a unique and powerful expression of the divine. The full album will soon follow, featuring new songs and sacred chants from the journey. His other recordings include the critically acclaimed A Fearless Heart, All Roads, Awakening Your Creative Fire, and Removing Obstacles. He is a Kundalini yoga teacher who tours internationally, performing and teaching at festivals and yoga studios. And he's with us right now. Let's say hello to Harnam. Harnam, would you prefer to be called Harnam or Harnam Singh?
Oh, just Harnam. I keep it simple. I'm from California. We shorten everything.
Oh, okay, yeah, great. Let's go. Let's start at where we first met, which was in Connecticut, right?
That is right. I recall that very well. I believe there was a music festival that was going on that was produced by a mutual friend of ours back in the day. I don't even remember. It's got to be like 10 years ago now, it feels like, maybe something.
It's probably about 10 years ago. Our friend Brett Dubach, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I like
Yeah.
this. I just see, what you just created on Facebook. Tell me everything. I'll be talking about magic, mystery, new music, life on tour. 2 p.m. today on WRPI.org with Gary Goldberg.
That's right. That's right.
That is awesome.
Right.
You are very creative. I really appreciate that, and I'm really looking forward to. I heard the Satnam and watched the video, and I know Anthony Molina.
You know Anthony.
I
Okay,
do.
great.
I do, and Anthony is, in fact, he's a great musician too. He's put out albums and he's also produced a number of albums with people over the years. And so,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about Anthony. He's a real pro, and he's been around the world with Mercury Rev. That is a band that is pretty big on the indie scene and plays festivals. They opened for Coldplay on one of their tours. I mean, and Anthony has been a huge part of that for like a long time, like 16 years. And then I first, ran into him and his talents and skills when he produced Simran's, I believe, her second album, The Oracle Sessions, and I was knocked out by the sound that the two of them created together, and hearing him play live and watching the things he was doing, I said, "Whoa, that guy's got it going on."
The Oracle Sessions,
yeah, powerful. Not only together in the studio, but together as a multi-instrumentalist performer.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. A lot of times you get a guy who knows his way around the studio and maybe he's got some good production ideas, but, to have somebody who can actually pull it all together, not only the ideas and the studio skills, but the performance in real time, that's just pure magic. And that's why these new tracks are so exciting to me. And especially on this last one we did with the video, the Satnam I Am track with the video. Once I had the track together with Anthony, then I got together with a South American filmmaker, and we spent months together filming down in the Yucatan in Mexico. And so, we bring that vibe to the whole project, and it really is magical. The reaction and the response of people in the yoga world to this the new video and the new track has just been amazing. Really, really amazing.
Well, it's like takes your breath away, honestly. It is nothing like I've ever seen before, and it's majestic. It's we talk about in your intro about how connected you are to nature, and you really see it in that video.
Yeah, man. Like this, it's the source, right?
Right.
We come from and we return to the divine, and the divine is all around us in the air we breathe, in the water that flows through our veins. It is the, people talk about the guru or the teacher, or, nature's the teacher.
Yeah.
if we would only stop our egos and our minds from trying to control and manipulate, and just listen and tune in and dial in and understand that we're part of nature and that nature is part of us and we're separable. There is the divine right there. And that's what all meditation and all yoga practice is about. It's connecting us with that infinite part of ourself that is the natural world,
Indeed, it is. As I was watching your video on YouTube, actually, I was watching it. There was other videos that on the side, where you can of yours, yeah. So there was one where it was just only a couple minutes, but what you said was so profound that I sent that out as well to people. It was so profound. Do you remember that one? It was about.
I didn't get a chance to re-listen to the clip that you shared. I guess it was me in concert somewhere.
Yeah, but you were given like a Dharma talk.
Oh, who knows? I do that from every now and then. Things come through, and I just let them. I don't recall specifically what I said.
I'll just summarize a little. What I felt because this is what's going on with me now. So when I heard you say it, it was just like such a relief, because we struggle, all of us on this planet struggle to find our place in the universe. We really want to, oftentimes, because we're so in our heads and we haven't really, the heart hasn't fully opened yet, to the majesty of who we are. We feel like we have to get everything done, and that when the body goes, it's the end. Well, you talk about the soul in this video, and this is what I've been going through this myself about what life means, and it's, so this is all coming to the surface with me, and when you recognize it's the soul in play within your body, you are not who you think you are. You are not your mind, your thoughts, your body. You are beyond that. And yet that larger part of us is really in charge.
Absolutely. Yeah. Preach, Gary. You got it. You nailed it, man. Nailed it.
Yeah, but when you really know it, you get it. You with the music, and I think music is a great way to facilitate that understanding, and you obviously have it. So when I saw that little bit, I said, man, this brother and I are together on this. Love it, So I mean, in fact, I did a little post on Facebook this morning about this very thing, and it's just that we even if we know it at some point, we can forget it over and over again. We need to remember it over and over again, right? Right. It's because we are in a body. We're susceptible to all the distractions and things going on, right?
Sure, absolutely. That's why we practice, though. That's what the whole idea of having a spiritual practice, a daily sadhana that brings us into connection, to deeper connection, and musicians get it because they have to practice, right? If you're going to go out in front, if you're going to go out in front of people, and you didn't practice, they're going to know, But the thing is that as yogis, we also practice.
Yes.
We practice. We work the energy through the body because the energy's shifting all the time. And so, if we don't move that energy, it gets stuck and it gets blocked. And that's where, and then we experience that as dis-ease, discomfort, agitation, feeling blocked or stuck in our lives. And so it's when we are able to show up every day for ourselves, for the people we love. We show up, we put our own oxygen mask on first, right? Like on the airplane.
Yeah.
And that's showing up for your practice, right? You show up and you meditate and you stretch and you do what you do and you chant to remind yourself of what you just said.
Yeah.
So that when you're out in the world, when you're distracted and there's all the distractions and the temptations and all the things that want to pull us away from our true source and who we really are and our own power, then we remember. In that moment, we're able to remember. Just like the musician practices the song to remember how to play it in the moment on the stage,
Yeah.
the yogi goes in and meditates and practices every day so that when we're out in the world and the shit's going down, we can call on our skills to get us through. That story that's in the news right now, the woman in Hawaii, right? The yoga teacher who got lost on a hike, right?
Yeah.
We found her after 2 weeks. Don't think her practice didn't save her ass.
Yeah.
Because it did. That's what it took for her to survive. Was I'm sure she was calling on, she had to calm herself under stress, under the pressure, just like you would if you were in a headstand and you're trying to hold that pose, right? Like, that's not the natural way to be. So you're putting yourself under pressure so that when life puts you under pressure, you are able to stay calm and survive and not lose your cool and not, if you panic, you're done.
And when this is why, I'm not going to go too far into it, but I had a few medical procedures for my heart over a period of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what saved me in all of this time? I did what I knew was the best way to do it. Was stay centered in the moment, trust, and not think extraneous thoughts. I was never more in the now. When those situations came, I never knew presence more than when I really needed it.
Yep. And that's why it happens.
Yeah.
That's why we manifest the lessons in the life. That's what the soul does. That's the work of the soul. The soul's going to draw you to the people you're supposed to be with. It's going to keep away the situations that you don't need, and it's going to give you all the lessons that you came here to learn so that you can do what your soul came here to do, and then, it's on to the next one. But that's what the action of the soul in the body, in the life is to give us the lessons, give us the opportunity to show ourselves that we remember, that we know where our source is. That's
absolutely.
The miracle, really.
That's the miracle, and I rediscovered that these times that when I really needed it, it served as powerful reminders of the presence within me.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Fantastic.
And also brought my heart into a gratitude. Extreme gratitude. That was one of the outcomes for me, was just being grateful and being happy to be grateful. It's such a wonderful feeling when you have gratitude ruling your life.
That is, therein lies the supreme lesson, right?
Yeah.
To be grateful for every breath.
Every breath.
In that space, you just understand the present is a gift, and the breath, the chi, the prana, the life force that flows through us is by the grace. And there is no, beyond that, whatever schemes and machinations and games we want to play, fine, go play them. But at the end of the day, you've got to come back to the humble reality of gratitude, of a grateful heart.
Absolutely. I want to share that I've been this has been a wonderful year for me, Harnam. I've got to see Simrit in concert,
Oh, nice,
recently, and
nice.
we're friends. I'm friends with everybody. Well, especially all the people that are really making a difference in the world. I want to get to know. So
Sure.
I make a point. Because I have this radio show. We this is like a voice for that. For these people, and a Synonymous car recently too, and even though I don't do the physical Kundalini yoga practices, I feel so connected to it in some ways. And when I hear this music, it just feels like it's purifying me.
Powerful stuff. It's power. There's a sound current. So yoga is yoga. You call it, Kundalini, Hatha, Vinyasa, right? Yoga is yoga.
Hmm.
It means to yoke yourself with the divine, the higher self and the lower self. That's
Yeah.
all yoga means, right? Everything else is just sort of one style or another.
Right.
Yeah, ice cream's ice cream. You having
Yeah.
pistachio today or chocolate?
Yeah.
I like my hot yoga. I like my vinyasa. I like my Kundalini.
Yeah.
But one of the things about the Kundalini, the real thing that got me hooked on it was the sacred sound current that
Yeah.
flows through the Shabad Guru or the chant. So it's this life force, this energy field that is created when you chant the mantra, and the Sikh Shabad has a real presence, a power to it, and that's what you're responding to and resonating with in those artists is that that sacred sound current that flows through their those mantras and their connection to that sound current, their ability to channel that sound current. And that's, for me, have been my great, Sonatham's the great teacher, right? As
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And I know myself and talking to artists like Simrit that when we all heard her, we were like, what?
Yeah.
Because that was like in 2004, when I really,
Yeah.
and that was when Sonatum released Grace, and it was like
Yeah.
a really momentous time. That was around when I met you, not long after that, and it was that album that really and still today has the most legs.
That Grace.
And touches people all over the world.
That's right.
And so for me as an artist, that spoke to me, and that practice spoke to me and opened me up in really beautiful ways to where we are today, to where I'm able to offer, my unique channel for the sound current and my unique gifts as an artist to deliver it to the world, to reach, I may or may not reach the same people that Sonatum reaches, but I do reach the people that resonate with me.
Well,
And that's everyone
right.
responds to different frequencies and different stimulus, and that's kind of the beauty of all the different artists, right? So you got Simrit, you've got Sonatum, you've got Guru Ganesha, you've got Ajit, you've got Guru, and that's just in the Kundalini genre,
Yeah.
right? And then you move over to the Bhakti genre, and you've got your Krishnan Das and your Jai Uttal and your David Newman and your Brenda Morrow, and you got all these really cool artists doing their thing, and people resonating with each specific frequency that each artist is putting out. It's powerful stuff.
It really
Very
is
healing.
Very healing. I was just Krishna Das is was in Yogaville this weekend, I think. And he was they were you could hear and you could hear what do they call it? They were live streaming, and I was listening to this one part, and in between some of the songs he'll talk,
Yeah.
and one thing he said, and I didn't hear the whole thing, but it was one thing I just tuned into, is that and I've seen him many times before in weekend retreats, etc. One thing it just boiled down to is we're doing this to basically it's a spiritual practice to experience the higher the true self through this who we are, our true identity, who we are. We're practicing to get to know who we really are, through this. Isn't it the truth, At least that's what I took from it. By the way, just one more thing to say about Harnam. That anybody that wants to hear my interview with her, which was just a few weeks back or a couple months or so, you can go to YouTube. It's on YouTube. So you just go to YouTube and Gary Goldberg and Harnam Carr, and you'll hear that. It was a wonderful interview. She really opens up really, really nicely when you do a radio interview with her.
Nice work, Gary. Very nicely done.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Well, I'm here to bring out the best in everybody,
Absolutely.
Because everybody has, and I've always been impressed with you, Harnam, is that your depth of understanding. You were, tell us a little bit about your background, because where did you grow up?
So I'm born and raised in Southern California, but I basically escaped as soon as I could. I was very blessed that I grew up where I did because of the connection with nature. But when I say I escaped, I grew up surfing, right? In Southern California, you got the mountains, you got the desert, really, really gorgeous. But culturally, I was challenged by LA, and in the time that I grew up in was, I kind of came of age in the 80s. And it was really, for a soul that came to seek spiritual truth, that was a pretty flashy veneer of a time, no one was. I was basically, when I said I wanted to be an artist, my family was like, "You what?" It was like I came out as an artist in the 80s, and that was just, that was a bit much for them. It was really, I wasn't well received in that regard. And then I realized, I couldn't stay in California. And I did a lot of traveling. I spent time in Europe, south of France. I was a painter. I went to school and I became a painter, and a musician. But the painting is where I had opportunities, as an artist, and I ended up going to I lived a lot of places. I lived in New Orleans. I lived in Arkansas. And then I wound up in grad school. And New Orleans was quite the lesson after growing up in California. New Orleans taught me how the world really worked. California was kind of like the idealized version of what the world ought to be. And then New Orleans was like, yeah, but this is how it really is. And so that was a great education for me, really kicked my butt. And then, in the most beautiful way, and profound way, and really got me in touch with my own sort of instinctual self in a lot of ways. And I grew a lot as an artist and musician. I spent time in Arkansas, and then eventually moved on to Connecticut, which is where we met. And I went to grad school up there in fine art, and then. Very, 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 I made it through grad school by the skin of my teeth, barely alive, fine art painting, right? I barely just survived that experience. And then I really got deep into the Kundalini yoga afterwards. I met some really great people, a great teacher in Connecticut, and went deep into the Kundalini yoga, and then revived the musical part of my art. And because the thing about being a musician was I didn't want to end up in bars at 2 a.m.
Right.
Like that didn't speak to my soul. My soul was like, no, go paint the sunrise. Don't wind up in bars at 2 a.m. Nothing good happens in bars at 2 a.m. So I let go of music as a career. I always kept it as a personal practice, but it wasn't until I discovered Kundalini yoga and mantra and chanting that I realized, oh, I can express myself fully as an artist in this genre and, still maintain a really high vibration of a spiritual practice. And, in your intro, you were playing Alice Coltrane.
I was.
And I thought, right? Yeah, you were. And I thought, hey, now that's cool because as an artist, purely as an artist, a musical artist, you look at someone like, Alice Coltrane or John Coltrane, right? A Love Supreme.
Yeah.
And that work is monumental, right, for an artist and spirituality in art, in jazz, right? The great jazz, you think about the great jazz artists and you're like, whoa, that's just, their best work is profound and spiritual.
Do you know how about the artist Sun Ra?
Exactly. Sun Ra, exactly. Tip of my tongue. Sun Ra, and so many, and then also in, in the work of the spirituality and in the work of, Van Morrison, Mystic, all those mystic songs from the Celtic Ray, right?
Absolutely.
And then you fast forward into someone like Peter Gabriel, who's quite the artist who went into the deepest of expression in sonic experimentations with, producers like Daniel Lanois and Brian Eno. And then you fast forward to where I ended up with Anthony Molina, and we both spoke that language.
Yes.
And that's really, for me, that's pushing the boundaries and the genres is where you're bringing sort of the highest level of creativity and consciousness as an artist to a spiritual practice of sacred chant and ancient mantra and mash that up with, great collaborators like Anthony Molina and Carlos Brigantes, my videographer, he's a Venezuelan filmmaker. And, that's what this video is. It took me my whole life to make that video, that 8-minute video. It's just those are all the energies that I'm bringing to this, and we have more to come.
Wow.
Gary. This is it's really exciting time. This is releasing a single is very new to me, but I think that this is sort of the direction of music now. Release a single, make a video.
It is.
Talk about it.
It is. A lot of artists are doing it, and it's a great way to introduce people to their music and whet their appetite for the whole album.
Exactly. I'm actually working on another video now with the same filmmaker. We have a great track that we're finishing up with Anthony. I can't say enough about what's coming down the road, other than stay tuned. Right.
All right. Yeah. Well, when you're you're always welcome to come back on the show as we continue in your process. I would love to have that. And stay in touch with your work as it continues.
Oh yeah. Don't worry. I'll make sure you know about it.
Okay. Let's hear Guru. Guru Ram Dass. We'll play that first. You want to hear that first?
No, let's go with the Satnam I Am. Let's go with the one with the video.
Okay, we're going to do that. Right, and here it is. Thank you.
All right.
And it is amazing.
Something Let's say you're a dad and you want to take your son and daughter on the perfect camping trip. So you pack up the car with all your gear.
We're all loaded up.
And you get the right direction.
Arriving at destination.
And you set up camp right next to a creek.
I caught a fish!
And it all goes perfectly.
Best trip ever, Dad!
And you're the perfect dad. But even if it doesn't go that way and your gear ends up on the highway and you get completely lost.
Where are you going?
And your campground is near a beehive. It can still be the perfect camping trip because kids don't always see things the way you see them.
Best trip ever, Dad!
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
I want to thank you all for tuning in today. This is Gary's Music Show on WRPI Troy. We're heard Mondays from 12 to 4. It's in the summertime, usually later, because the students leave for the summertime, and generally no one's following my time slot. And so I love to play music. You know what? Harnam Singh is our guest right now, and that was amazing. Satnam. I am. It's amazing. You know, to see it with the video is what you really need to do, because it's just going to blow you away. And Harnam was saying earlier how long it took him and Anthony and the Venezuelan videographer to put this all together, right?
Yeah. I mean, you know, we had the track, and then we took a break. I took a break working with Anthony, and then went down to Mexico, and it took a few trips. You know, we had to get the right gear, and you know, it's just I ended up stepping into the role of producer of the video, which was the first time I'd ever done anything like that, and it had its own logistical challenges, shall we say, to pull it off, you know.
Absolutely. Like standing on,
and-
you don't have to give the secret away, but standing on the rocks with the water all around you playing your guitar, that was pretty mind-blowing. And also, lying down in the ocean, and I know that wasn't trick photography, as the waves are washing in you, and you're like going up and down with the waves, and finally it just washes right over the top of you, and you sink into the water. I mean, that's dedication.
I'm all in, bro. I am all in, my brother Gary.
I hear you.
In. I am all in on the music. I am all in on the video. I am all in on the tour. I am all in on the transformation as a teacher.
Yeah.
The work I do.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I came here to do
the message is powerful.
As a human.
Well, the whole message is powerful as well. You are the whole. It's just breathtaking in every way, and it's obviously you went beyond the beyond to put this together. Yeah. And
so they can see it on my website at iamharnam.com. So I-A-M Harnam, Harnam.com. So iamharnam.com. They want to check out the video. It's definitely up there. It's also up on Facebook. It's up on my social media, Facebook, Instagram. If you're looking for Harnam, Harnam, you should find it there, and also up on my YouTube channel as well, of course.
Oh, great having a YouTube channel, you know, isn't it?
Yep.
I just love YouTube.
Gotta have it.
YouTube is fantastic. In fact, I put as many interviews as I can on YouTube because
great.
You know, and I think I want to get a YouTube page at some point. And put as many interviews as I can on that, so people can go there and just, tell people they can hear my interviews, on YouTube. And it's really, the way to today, communication is now like so facile. I mean, we can get our work out in so many ways,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's powerful.
It's powerful.
It's powerful.
I mean, you could get it on. You imagine what you want to do, and there's some kind of tool or something that will help you to create that what you want.
Absolutely, yeah. And as an artist, I find that a huge part of what I do is working on social media, working online. But it really frees me up in a lot of ways to be able to simultaneously work on the other projects, on the music. It's not like I have to stop what I'm doing for 3 weeks and go into the studio, and I can go spend focus on the studio, but I'm still promoting the tour and organizing the video and setting things up on the website. All that stuff just happens in real time, and whether I'm in Mexico, I'm working on it, or I'm working in California, or up in Seattle. I've been spending a lot of time up there, and just it is miraculous our ability to connect with each other. The thing is it's really content. The quality of our content is what people are seeking. Quality.
Yeah.
People are seeking authenticity.
Yes.
So, while we can get the message out, the question is, delivering authentic quality content. And that's really, that's where the work is, is understanding what it means to be authentic and then cutting through with it. That's where I'm at now. It's like, wow, we did this really amazing track and this gorgeous video, and okay, so how do we cut through even further and get it to more people? And that's really the challenge, right? How do you get this like a well-crafted message of spirituality to more humans? Because but that's the work. That's the art, right? That's the process.
Can I share something? I got this image. I just want to share it with you. You mentioned Seattle, and I spent quite a bit of time in Seattle when my son was growing his family, and living in Seattle, and I visited him often, and the image of landing at SeaTac, Seattle Tacoma Airport. There is that when you're up in the air and you're about ready to land, and you look out the window, it's so amazing. The valleys, the mountains, it's like cut from glaciers. That whole area in the Northwest, it's so like, I could see you, for instance, Mount Rainier there, and I can see you playing with that in the background too. And I was just, that would be awesome.
Listen, I'm all in on that. I got to get my videographer into the United States.
Yeah. But you got the image. You got the image, right?
Get him a visa.
Yeah. But isn't that beautiful area though? I mean, like, it's a part of a country. It feels like it's so raw and real. There's something about it being so like amazingly in your face.
I agree. It's powerful. In fact, I was talking about that next song that's coming. I wrote it out there. I wrote it out in Seattle. It was rarely do things come together quickly, but this track, the next track we're going to release, happened. I was staying at my brother's over a period of about 10 days in the holidays, and I woke up every morning and I looked out his window, and he had this view of, the sound, right? This gorgeous landscape in the mountains. And this song just came through, like, complete, verse, chorus, it was all there. And then the next month I had a scheduled meeting with Anthony, and we, in 1 week, knocked it out.
Right.
And so now we're working on a video, and in a couple of months, maybe if we're lucky, we'll have it out, and we'll have it together, and I'll be able to share it with you guys next time I come back.
Well, that's
but it was
beautiful.
Seattle. It happened
Yeah.
in
Happened in
that it just
Puget
something
Sound.
about that clear air.
Yeah.
And
Nothing like it.
Those vistas, and next thing I knew, the song was just in my lap.
Yeah.
And that never happened.
No.
I'll be honest with you, that
Yeah.
very rarely happens that a song comes through whole and complete in a short period like that. In my working process, much more often, it really takes time.
Yeah.
And you might have the groove, but maybe you don't quite have the lyrics, and then you've got to fit the verse and the chorus together with the melody and the bridge, and
Sure.
it takes time to pull that stuff off.
Yeah, and
usually,
there's no rush, right? No rush, right?
No rush, but every now and then something falls in your lap, and this next track just fell in my lap.
And it's ready to do. It's the timing is right.
Exactly. We were going to do a different track when I went to see Anthony. We were going to do actually a mashup of a mantra and an old spiritual tune together.
Yeah.
That worked. And it was like, no. This song, I said to him, I said, no, we got to do this. And he heard it, and he was like, yeah, you're right. Let's do this. And that's what I like about working with guys like Anthony and Carlos. We get the back and forth, Like I'll have an idea, and here it's like this, and he'll say, no. And, we push back on each other. And, it's like the best idea wins. It's definitely, he's the producer and I'm the artist, and we go back and forth, and some battles I win, some battles I lose, and that's okay. I trust it. I trust the process. That's why I'm with him. That's why I'm working with him, because I want his ideas. I want someone to push back on me and tell me, no, this song's not ready. Let's do something else.
Absolutely.
Let's play the first one.
Okay.
Let's play the first one. Let's play that Guru Ramdas track, because it all started with that.
Really? Okay.
I'll set it up. Let me set it up for you. I was down in Mexico working on a bunch of demos. I was house sitting for a friend for a month down in the Yucatan, and I brought my gear down there, and that's what I do every day. I'd go up and I'd do my practice on the beach, and then I'd come back. I'd stop at Starbucks on the way and get a coffee, and then I'd get back to work in the studio and set up all these demos. And I went to see Anthony in the cold north. He's up in Rochester. He was up in Rochester at the time, and he had a great studio. And this was the first thing he latched onto, this Guru Ramdas track. And we were only going to do a single, just to see how it worked. And then after we did this, it was all over. That was what we followed with the Satnam I Am. So this one you're going to play is the first track we did. The Satnam I Am was the second track we did.
Okay.
But it all started with this first track you're about to play.
All right.
The Guru Ramdas. And just so people know what these mantras mean, Satnam I Am, Satnam means truth.
Right.
Truth is my identity. That's the power of that. When we identify with our truth, we live our authenticity, and that's just powerful, and it's unstoppable. That's the energy we brought to that track. And then this one, the Guru Ramdas, is the gratitude, the humble, the power of bowing to the divine and letting that wisdom flow through you, not trying to force it, just connecting with your gratitude. And, when you're a servant of the infinite, there's wisdom that flows to you. And so that's what this Guru Ramdas track is about.
Okay, here it is.
Okay.
Yep. You're listening to WRPI Troy. We have Harnam sing with us, and we're playing his music, and this is Guru Ram Das. And I just want to say just a little funny joke here, that you guys have engineered these songs so well that and it's absolutely stunning. That I have the headphones on, so I'm hearing it in the studio, the best possible way to hear it. And it fades. I want to tell our listeners, it fades for a while beyond what your human ears can hear. You know what I mean, Harnam?
Yeah.
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 You really do such a slow fade at the end that you have to listen carefully, because I think it's one of the mantra. It's like the mantra sinking in deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, like that, right?
Yeah. It's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, so my feeling about it as an artist, as a human, as a yogi, is, the forces that want to control and manipulate other humans and consciousness, to the peril of us all on this planet,
Yes.
are powerful. And as artists, we need to step into our own power. The time is now. As humans, as souls on planet Earth, the time is now, and we need to use everything available to us to heal and help each other. And that's what the mantra is. And by delivering it this way with real pros like Anthony, like real professional producers, musicians, we want to get it as deeply into your DNA, into your consciousness, into your awareness, so that when you need it, it is there.
Right.
Because we don't have time to F around anymore.
I know.
Like, those days are long, long gone. The planet needs us.
Yeah.
The people in these war-torn countries need us. We can't just do what we've always done. We need to figure out new ways to connect with each other and get the word out and transform our civilization culturally, politically, individually, professionally, consciously, and that's what these tracks are for. We're not playing around.
Yeah.
We're all in. We're doing our very best to
absolutely
deliver something that will have an effect, will have an impact, to the best of our ability. I mean, honestly, my vision for this stuff, Gary, is huge. I want a room full of people. I don't just want a room full of people. I want a massive outdoor stage with humans chanting together in unison this divine vibration, and just setting up a vortex of light on the planet. That's my goal. That's my mission. My next stop is going to be around the corner in Wyckoff, New Jersey, at O'Shea Yoga this Thursday night, May 30th, 7 to 9 p.m. I am going to be bringing it the only way I know how, and that's all in. Opening up a healing space of light and sound current. And then I'll be back through for Satnam Festival in the Berkshires, with my band, and I'll be chanting and teaching, and giving a concert there as well. That's in August 7th through 8th. I'll probably be doing some other events in the region, so stay tuned around then. It's all on my website, iamharnam.com, and the Facebook and the Instagram. It's all out there. But I can't wait to meet your beautiful listeners and share the new music with them live, because it's much more, as good as these recordings are, when you're in a room with people and that energy's moving, it's a whole nother thing, isn't it?
It is.
You know?
It is. I recall in my recent interview with Sonata Carr, as good as her albums are, she says
Yeah.
the best way to get it is live.
Yeah, because there's a direct transmission. It's subtle, but it's direct. And, the albums kind of speak to you on a certain level, but when you're in the room and the music's happening, and because the artists themselves become, like, especially someone like Sonata, she really is an open channel for the divine to flow through. And on a good night, when that energy's cooking in the room and the musicians are all tight and that energy's flowing, like, wow, it's really powerful, really special.
It was, and she was with Ram Dass, etc. Really, and she had a good little crew there. Of course, she always does,
Yeah.
right? And that in that room, she played beyond what she normally plays. She almost played for 3 hours, I think. And she would say, "How long do we have?" And no one was going to say, "You have to leave," you know. So she just kept. So it went on,
Right?
and yeah, but it's a timeless experience. It's a very this experience of the chant and the mantra. Well, I don't even think time goes out the window when I'm in an experience like this, because I become so surrendered to it. It's a timeless experience, and it reflects our timeless nature.
Yep.
And this is what we need. This is what, because we are, we're beyond time and space, and it's great to experience that inside. And it's the mantra delivers, I think, and the mantra with music delivers more than anything. So I think it's something that I've discovered really is the best thing that I know of to open me up to the greater realms, And I'm very I'm very happy to be able to feature this on this radio show. It's like a super high just to be able to know that people are listening and are getting it, and they're gonna and I'm gonna and they're gonna want it, and we're gonna tell them where it is so they can go find. The Satnam Fest is a great experience, and whatever. By the way, before we leave, I just want to give Anthony Molina. He released an album. It was called, let's see if I can say it right, Dharma Paul. Do you remember that?
Oh, Durham Paul.
Durham
with
Paul.
Durham Paul, yeah.
It's
yeah,
awesome.
I love that one. That was that was a big part of why I ended up working with him. That track Anand.
Yeah.
Off of that's the title of the album, I think.
It is.
Anand.
It is
by Durham Paul.
Yeah.
And that track is off the chain.
He gave me that album, and I play, and it just like, wow, this is great.
Yeah. I mean, the whole album's fantastic, but that track, that one you could just put on repeat for quite some time.
Yeah.
Some real magic on that one. Yeah.
I think we'll play it today.
Honestly, that was definitely, when I was looking for, how to do the next project, he just kept coming back, and that track was part of it, that album. Yep. And Durham Paul is great, and that work they did together, fantastic. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's how I really, and I got, is he still married? Shouldn't be saying this. He was connected with this lady who was they were in Kingston at the time, and they had a yoga, they had a Kundalini center there, and they would bring Guru Nam Singh in a lot. He would come.
Yeah.
So I would travel and see Guru Nam. Because I've known him for a long time, and I love his kirtan.
Yeah.
I feel so blessed. We could talk about this all day. But anyway, I'm so excited to have you on the show, Harnam, and thank you so much for sharing that. Man, I am so psyched after hearing your music. I'm looking forward to I'm going to be playing it a lot on my show.
Well, right. I sure appreciate it, Gary. It's really a great service that you're doing, is getting this vibe out into the world, because that's where it needs to be. People need this. It's medicine.
It is medicine.
It's medicine.
It is. It is.
It really, I'm going through, that's why I do it, because this is a frequency of medicine that I need personally, that it's not out there in any way. Like, I've listened to everything that all the other artists do, but I need this particular frequency.
Right.
And if I
Me
need
too.
it, I know there's other people that do too.
Yeah.
And
I-
that's,
yeah.
that's why it's coming through me, because the world needs it now. And I'm just really blessed to have collaborated with someone like Anthony, who's got mad skills and talent, and
Yeah.
the fact that we're getting it out there and making these videos now to really help it go even further, to give it it's a visual culture. We really need, and they have to be good.
Yeah. Well,
You can't just phone it in.
yeah. No, there's no
You gotta
phone. There's
really show up and
I
go
know
all
it.
in, because
Ooh.
it makes a huge difference.
Well, it does make a huge difference, and I can tell you, just just being with you this afternoon and listening to this music, it's real. I really feel like I was feeling a little heavy this morning. It was just I was saying to a friend, I go, "Oh, how are you doing?" She said, and messaging on Facebook. I go, "Well, struggling, slow. I feel being pulled down." I says, "Yet I know once I get out of this house, I'm going to be better. I'm going to do radio today. That's going to be meaningful. It's going to lift my energy." And certainly it does. And having you on the show and knowing that you were going to be on it, I said, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to pull out of this. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Listen, Gary.
Yeah.
Next time I see you, man, we're gonna do some breath work. We're gonna do.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you some tools, man.
Yeah.
Got to get you some tools.
Okay,
'cause,
brother.
You need it. We
Yeah.
need you. We
Yeah.
need you.
Yeah.
We need you. We need you in this work that you're doing. And we got to give you. Make sure that. That's the thing about practice, right?
Right.
You don't need. Right, you don't need a special place to do yoga, right? You
Right.
walk outside, you sit down on the lawn. You sit down in the living room and turn off the TV and open the window and you breathe and you move, and then the next thing you know, you're feeling a little bit better, and you want to breathe a little more and move a little more, and next thing you know, you're like, okay, now I'm ready. Let's chant.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you're like, whoa.
Beautiful.
I was feeling heavy. I wasn't quite in it. I was maybe caught up on something, some bullshit in my head. And now it's good. I don't even remember what it was, because I just transformed myself with a practice.
Well, thank you, brother. It's time for us to go, and it's very exciting to have you on the show. And your music is fantastic. The new chants that we heard today on the air, Satnam I Am and Guru Ram Das, were off the charts. Great. And stay on the line. I'll speak with you off air. Okay, my friend?
Okay, fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Harnam Singh. This is Alice Coltrane.